Hello, my name is Agaba, the God's favorite, and I do know that most of you out there know me as Professor Engineer Safari from Saftech Canada Academy and Canada Institute of the Global Market Skill Sets. And that's what we've been teaching. Most of you guys are my students at Saftech Canada Academy and Canada Institute of Global Market Skill Sets. We now have more than 300 students. Most of them, they are Rwandese, Ugandans, Kenyans, South Africans, Nigerians, Americans, Canadians, from everywhere. And I'm so happy to be teaching them about the global market skill sets, and so they can respond to the global market instead of the local market. And before I go so far, I just want to say congratulations, Mr. President. We've been so busy, we've been in elections, and we're so happy to have you again as our president. Just so you know, we are so proud of you. And I didn't vote. I was running up and down, hustling as always. It wasn't easy, but God, I had my good reasons to vote for you. And for that reason, just so you know, you have my votes. I will share my three top reasons why I would have voted for you. And of course, you're going to listen to those. And further to that, I just want to talk about Yago. Yago, I want to say congratulations, Yago. It's been really one of those hardest moments, the dark moments of your life going on. And along with the the media making amplifying everything, making it so hard even for the regular person to understand, just because some words just happen to have left your mouth and was it. And that's a huge challenge. And I can assure you, most of you out there, you already know. You've said so many things that can never be caught on a camera, because if they did, then they would sound so horrible. I have said some, you've said some, we've all said some, but I think we should take something so big out of this, that social media is social media. Whatever you say on social media, please make sure it's contained. The chances that it's going to get out, damage you, they are so high. Please, let's focus on that. So many people reached out to me to telling me about, go talk to you, go do this, do this. Yes, I did talk to him, and I want to say thank you very much, each and everybody out there who reached out to me so I can talk to you. Go possibly somewhere asking me to talk to him about like disciplinary, in a sense that he could change. I'm sure what he did is not proud of it, and the situation that went further from business to relationship, it's even worse. You all understand, once it gets there, it even gets worse. But I've been talking to Yago, and I've told him a couple of things. Yago has so far graduated. He understands that overcoming the challenges without the backfire is the major thing. Sometimes it's not necessary to win all the wars, to fight all the wars. Some of the wars you have to be like, I let it fly. And I think that's the best thing you can have, because by doing so, it's going to help you to control your hunger, your words. And it's so important, because when words leave our mouths, then they become so worse. And some people, they capitalize on them, they make it even more worse, so they can affect your image and do everything. But people who care, they'll always reach back to you and talk to you and advise you so you can understand. And I did talk to you, and I'm sure you listened. And guys, I assure you one thing: Yago is a changed man. Yago, he sees the social media differently. He knows how heavy are his words. He knows that he's going to have to make sure he control their narrative, or whatever is going on. It's not the reaction, that instinct of jumping in and saying whatever you want, it's gone. Yago, you're too big. Once you have 600K subscribers, not viewers, K subscribers, that means you're in a million viewers. Then you have a big audience that is listening to you. So you have to be careful the word that gets out of your mouth. We all do mistakes. I'm not saying I'm going to be the perfect guy. I will do mistakes, but I hope maybe the mistakes that I'm going to do, they're going to be at least not that childish mistake. Just understanding that the word once leaves your mouth, it gets even worse in the hands of the wrong people. And so I promise you, Yago have changed. He have done a great things about himself. He have seen the world different. He have graduated. He's now a mature man, and you're gonna see him. He's completely different guy. So before I end this part, I want to also go back and talk about the three major reasons, my top three why I would have voted for the president. But I didn't have a chance. I was running. I was probably in the US or somewhere in Europe, maybe in Canada. I don't even remember. That's how crazy it was. But if I did, I would have done it for these two, three reasons. And I have so many reasons, but those will be the top ones. Unity and reconciliation. Rwanda coming from where it came from, the genocide, that within only 3 months, more than almost 1 million Tutsis were killed. That is crazy. And within just 10 to 30 years, you put together those people, you rehabilitate them, those the damaged one, you find a way to deal with them. Those ones supposed to go to prison, they go in prison, you let them out, you bring them back to the society so they can work together and develop the country. And for that reason, I salute you, sir. The second one is the Rwanda first. Rwanda stands on top of anything you will bring on the table of the president. He understands what Rwanda means and what Rwandans need. And I think there's nobody there who can do better than him when it comes to that. That's not the perfect word to say there is nobody there. There's so many people who can do better, but so far is the best that I know. And for that reason, I salute him again. The master plan, he took advantage of the situation, and that was the right time to act. And he implemented the master plan to make sure the land issue doesn't become a big challenge, because Uganda has these models of the master plan, but they failed to implement them because of the land issues, the Kabaka and everything. The same applies to so many places. And he managed to address this. And to me, this is a big thing. He took advantage at the right moment, implemented the master plan, and Rwanda is Rwanda of today because of the master plan. And I would also talk about 3 points that I don't think we are doing so good in Rwanda, that I think we should improve. And if we don't improve, we're going to be left out, and it's not a good time to get left out on these three values. And I will exhaust these values even later. Digital transformation. The world is transforming. We need to transform along with this. And how do we do this? It's aligning the students, the youth, the Rwandese, align them along with the global market skill sets. There's no way we can succeed on the local market. There's no way how Rwanda can employ each and everybody. You need people to employ those youths. And who are those people? It's a global market. It's a market for everybody. And if we don't do this, we have seen situations like in Kenya, in Uganda. This is the only time we can do this. And the money we've implemented in the technology, in some other cases, some have been successful, but like some other cases, like a laptop for each child, that money could have been used in this transformation and it would have been so far. And for that reason, then safeguarding our values and principles and all those standards like Western. So before I go any further, I just want to go back a little bit about the digital transformation, because I think digital transformation should be like the overall focus of government when it comes to an employment issue that the country is facing right now. And it's not only Rwanda only, including Uganda, Kenya. You've seen the Gen Zs, what they're doing, instability is going on right now. And we can't stand too far away from them unless we address those issues. Because from the beginning, we've been telling these guys, these kids, please go to school, go to school. And for real, these kids, they have done their best. They have went to school, they have graduated, and now they are stuck on the streets. They have no jobs. So we need to be prepared. They can't sit back and just keep listening and probably fighting in the offices that would underpay them. Where somebody has to call somebody to give you a job, and the job, it's not even that job that you would wish to have. But the same thing applies to some who are actually graduated and decided to leave the country in Africa, left Africa for America, for Canada, for Europe, anywhere. But still, because they don't have exposure to the global market. And by having exposure to the global market, people don't understand the global market. Like, we are now in Web 2. Web 2 is an internet version where we're still using a couple of things like IP addresses, those issues. But there's a transition going on. Hopefully, soon, 3.1 web is going to be up. That means we're going to have an internet where it's not going to be just an internet. We're going to be having everything running on the internet. I mean, like surgeries, all the medical high ranking operations. I'm talking about the teaching, the courses, the manufacturing, the robot design, the illusion masking, and client facing, like all those things that you have to do in the background so they can face the client. And I can talk of so many things that are coming in with, like blockchain. Like the blockchain is going to take over all the banks in the world. It's obvious, you can't avoid that because the bank system is still the old system that is not even related to the internet we are using right now. So when you see the blockchain, it's going to come. And next time I will talk about the blockchain, the Bitcoin, everything, so you can understand where I'm coming from. But when you don't understand the internet in a sense of global market skill sets, global market skill sets, we are talking about how do you get a job? What's a BPO, business processing outsourcing? What's a call center as a BPO? How can I get a contract online and take it in Africa where I can get customer service bilingual, like in Rwanda, as an example. Like right now in Canada, the government enforced the bilingualism in all government institutions. That means each and every government institution should have a call center where everybody should pick up the call in French or in English. And as you can understand, there's a shortage of manpower in Canada right now that there's not enough people to be in those positions. And this is why I found an opportunity of Rwanda. That's why I brought my call center in Rwanda. That's why Saftech Canada Academy is training aggressively in Rwanda because there's one single thing that you can find in Rwanda, but not anywhere in East Africa or possibly even in Africa. And what is that thing? Only in Rwanda you can have people who are fluent in bilingual English and French because they are former francophones and now they're anglophones. So you have the advantage of English and French. Only in Rwanda, you have access to the Congolese and the Burundians who speak French because they're still in a French education system. So, but they happen also to adapt so well based on the technology that is available today. People speak English and French because of technology. And the Burundian and Congolese, they happen to be so good. Even in Canada, when I was working in the call centers, the Congolese and the Burundians were the majority because they had advantage on English because they had the French in the first place. Then English came in so easy. And that was an advantage. And this is an advantage why the BPO call centers, Rwanda right now should be having the major BPO center in the whole world. I mean, like a CCI, all those tech systems. But unfortunately, none of these call centers, BPO call centers, are owned by the government. The government implementing these structures is so cheap. So these BPO call centers that the government should have implemented the moment they focused on the fiber optic, which gives the internet, the high-speed internet in Rwanda. Actually, Rwanda is among the top 5 countries, I think, with the high-speed internet. And that's a huge, huge platform when it comes to BPO call centers. What do you need in a BPO? You don't need much. You just need to design say environments. You have a test environment. You design, you bring in people, you train them, you test them, they start improving, you see the improvements, and don't buy any materials. You don't need to buy anything. You don't even need to buy laptops. You can use virtualization where you can have one server, and on single server, I can have more than 100 workstations. And those workstations, everybody can have a monitor, a keyboard, and a mouse, and he can do whatever they do. And each and every person can do different things using a single computer. You can also use virtual labs. In the lab, you pay less than $50 and you have the access to creating applications, servers, environment. You create an environment, and that environment you put in the networking, everything, the VPN, install the VPN, you configure everything the way you want it, and then you give it to the people to test. They start working at the call center like the way we are doing at Saftech Canada right now. Next time I'll have most of them to join us so we can tell you how we can show how we're doing this. The way we are doing it, we take a task and we cut it into small pieces, and that task basically what happens now. Once a piece is given assigned to a person, they focus on that particular piece, and we are doing a great job. We find a group of guys who are in the training they are the same guys who are actually able to transfer from that class of the test environment to the staging environment. In staging environment, this is where you do the shadowing. You listen to the call. You talk to the white on the call center. We get the contract. We talk to people on call centers. You hear the white people because most of African people, the African youths, they have never been in exposure where they can actually talk to the white person. The accent and all those issues, they have to be addressed. But it's possible. When I first got into this environment, I was a P7 dropout, but now I can pretty much communicate with them. So you can do the same thing. Most of you have had the best education that I ever had. So this is a big thing. Let's focus on the BPO. By the BPO, then you can reach out to companies, Microsoft, Google. Like now, we have a contract which is going in Kenya because we wanted people who are good at AI. We're doing AI data sets and labeling. Data set and labeling, it's like telling the AI this is a phone and this is a Mac, because the AI doesn't know everything at some point. You have to educate it. You say this is the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and then it will know next time. So that's what we're building. They give us a lot of data, and Kenya was much better, and Uganda, they give us a big data, and we use that data to build the AI. And the AI, by saying the AI, we tell them this is a TV, this is a phone, this is a carpet, this is a chair, this is a light. Then the AI gets to develop the idea, and then you can ask anytime, we'll respond accordingly. So that's AI data sets and labeling. So we can transfer from those ones and getting those contracts. And if the government can get involved, especially the way the president is so good on reaching out to the businesses and stuff like that. Imagine if you reach out to the Qatar and you say, let's bring the BPO call center in Rwanda. If you reach out to Canada and you come up with the reason to enforce our bilateral relationship in bilingualism in French and English. We want to take on the call center, which is going to be helping Canadians on call center English and French. They are desperate. They will give you that project. If they can give me the project or they give it to other companies like Philippines in India, why not Rwanda of all places? So those are the opportunities. Then you have security, you have power. In Rwanda, the only place you can spend the whole week, possibly the whole month without losing the power. Only in Uganda, then in Kenya. But in Rwanda, only in Rwanda, then in Kenya. In Uganda, it's a different story. Don't go there. But you get the good engineers and good English-speaking people in Uganda and Kenya. Uganda being the best, was always ranked the best. Then we're going to talk about this more. This is why we basically focus on at Canada Institute of Global Market Skill Sets and Saftech Canada Global Market Skill Sets. Basically, it's an academy. And those are the issues that I would want the government to focus on in the future. And this will take a burden of almost more than 60% of the government on an unemployment issue. And these guys will work in the global market and will be able to travel the West and come back as visitors, not coming here, declaring themselves as refugees and ending up in factories doing horrible jobs. I've seen guys who came in Canada, USA as graduates. Some have masters, some have bachelors, but they're working in factories. They're cutting chicken, they're cleaning, and they're like, you should have stayed back at least. So that's a big problem. It doesn't matter where you run to if you don't know the skill sets required in the global market, you're always going to end up under somebody's payroll. And somebody's payroll is going to come with a slavery mindset. That's why they want to abuse you, they want to use you, especially in the West. No job you can do unless you're really good and get fired, because there's racism, there's a lot of things. So the best way you can do this, stay home, let's tap into the global market, and then you can build Africa. Secondly, the second thing I would love the government to look at and more hopefully focus on, it's the creating an East African community to be borderless. It's more of an advantage to Rwanda. Rwanda have a smaller economy. By tapping into East African community, it can be a big market. And that would open up the big market because they would establish themselves, companies will establish themselves in Rwanda, but operating in other countries. Because in Rwanda, they will be assured there is peace and justice, there is law, there is electricity, there is everything. So many offices will be established in Rwanda and the operations will be everywhere. For people who want to take advantage of the corruption, the many office will be in Rwanda, but the other offices will be in Congo, in Uganda, in Kenya, or everybody else. So Rwanda should understand where it stands different from all other countries in Africa. And the part that have been done is the biggest. Unity and conciliation has been the biggest. Education, having you don't know how many people have been dragged from illiteracy to being literate. Is so the number is so overwhelming. It's so big. I was so surprised. And you guys you should go there and see. And this all comes by the good leadership. It's so important when there's a good leadership. But I think we also need to focus on things that can give Africa a more lasting life. I mean, in a sense of where we can have stability, because most of instabilities comes in when we ignore key factors like global market outreach, which gonna actually channel all the youth. Instead of being on the street throwing stones and fighting around, they could be actually online doing some jobs, call center jobs, IT jobs, engineering jobs. And I'm offering at Saftech Canada and Canada Institute of Global Market Skill Sets, we are offering all those skills free. Where you're going to understand computing, global market skill sets. In global market skill sets, you have computing, cloud computing, you have BPOs, you have engineering, and all other courses. There's so many things you can benefit from this. And more importantly, we can take advantage of AI. We know AI. I've received your resumes. I've received more than 400 resumes. You guys, you text me, you send me the resumes, and you're so professional. You're so good. Professional in the sense of knowledge, but you don't know how to present your idea. You don't know how to introduce yourself and present what your goods. If you can't sell your product, nobody is ever going to ask about your product. And that's what I'm doing. I'm asking guys in my classes, tell me about yourself. You'd be surprised hearing somebody saying he has a master's, but they can barely stand there and present themselves. And we say education has failed from our grandpa. They went to school, they never got nothing. Our fathers went to school, they never got nothing. We went to school, the school education never helped. I had to get satisfied as a professional in the specific fields to be able to succeed in the global market. If I had arrived at my master's in information technology at Ryerson University, then I would have been stuck just there, like everybody else, working for a corporation or a government. Global market. I've next time I'm bringing the people that are my previous graduates. I have more than graduates in the previous who have tripled their income right now. From I'm not saying from just 100, 300. No, I'm saying somebody who's making less than $1,000 to them making $10,000. I will invite them. I'll bring them over. Then they will encourage you. Please, let's work together to point Africa to the global market. I like my Nigerian students, my Kenyan, my South Africans, my US students, my Canadian students, everywhere. Let's do together so we can work all together from our comfort zones, which is our homes, which is Africa. Then if we stay in Africa, maybe we'll love Africa more. Maybe we'll fight for Africa more. Maybe we'll fight the influences that bring those ideologies that makes no sense to us. Let's safeguard our morals, our standards, our principles, so we can build a better Africa for our kids. Let's not just be open.